Years later, SpongeBob evolved into a robot, and his pineapple house became a mechanical pineapple. Even Patrick's head turned transparent as everything in Bikini Bottom transformed into machines. The once familiar Krusty Krab became a giant battery, while Karen, who was originally a machine, gained a physical body. At 6 a.m., SpongeBob was woken up on time. He unplugged his charger and recited the familiar lines.
I'm ready.
He went to the sink and installed his facial features. For breakfast, he ate screws, sprinkling some motor oil as sauce and munched them with great relish. Just then, the work bell rang, but Gary the snail hated to see SpongeBob go to work, blinking his watery big eyes. Yet no one paid attention. SpongeBob didn't realize Gary had secretly followed him. First, he greeted Squidward, who had bought a robot just to stay away from SpongeBob. But even the robot Squidward refused to get along with SpongeBob. Next, SpongeBob approached Patrick, whose mechanical brain had even less capacity, often slipping into sleep mode. Mr. Krabs could only walk back and forth on a track, looking pitiful.
Everybody get to work!
Krabby Patties became piles of round batteries. Gary sneaked out, simply wanting to taste a battery, but caused a short circuit. Just then, Squidward stuck his head in to order, got tangled up with Gary, and they jumped into the boiling motor oil. They tumbled all the way to the chum bucket. Plankton, now a robot, became even more useless. He needed Karen to power his every step.
Thanks, Karen, my flesh and blood wife.
Runaway Gary dashed onto the road, causing a serious traffic accident. Worse still, he startled Sandy from her sleep. Gary led the crowd running toward the sea, finally charging into the water. The frenzied crowd followed, and thus regained their senses. But the crisis wasn't over. A dark shadow appeared in the water. Then residents were pulled into the sea one by one. Sandy connected them all together, forming a giant robot.
So we can all be as close as peas in a pod.
She carried the residents out of the water and finally flew to an island, leaving Bikini Bottom behind.